how do you get into advocate work? That's really easy. So you get into advocate work by serving people. I still serve people, and I started out serving people. So I started out, um, my son's IEP meeting was a hot mess. And then this was 100 years ago when I was a toddler. And I became on a call list for TEA, Texas Education Agency. I don't know if they have it anymore, but you could just be another parent that sort of did these like outgoing calls when a new parent, a parent had a new identification, right? So it's a very unique position to be in with a child with a disability. And I just started going with people to IEP meetings because once it's like in your bones, like it's in your bones, right? And unlike anybody else on the call, I didn't have a principal saying, stop talking to the parents. Nobody's telling me that. Isn't that terrible? And that's how I got into special ed. So I'm sitting in my own son's special ed meeting. He's 3. And the lady next to me, like has this little piece of paper. We're all sitting forward, and she like folds it up and like slides it to me. And I was like, well, that's weird. And I opened it up, and it was MHMR for Travis County. Mental health, mental retardation, Travis County. It's Austin, Texas. We don't use that language anymore. And it wasn't for an advocate. It wasn't for an attorney. It was just for an agency. And I thought, that's weird. And she's like, don't tell anybody I gave you that. What? And it happens to teachers every day. I know your child needs testing, but I can't say anything, but you can. This is crazy. What is this, the mafia? So my experience is it's never changed. It's never changed since that first day. And so I find the people that work at the state level are unbelievably helpful, but they're not the ones inside of schools. And so if you have a principal that has special ed in their bones, you're gold. And if you have one that doesn't, you're not gold, right? And so that's how I got started. And I just started giving talks on special education. It could be something as simple as you print out something from U.S. Department of Education. They have all this information from CADRA, from spedtext.org. There's countless, websites. But there wasn't a place where all the information was together. And so I just started giving talks at churches or MOPS groups or anybody that wanted the information. I gave like an hour talk, 10 things. I think it was like on a yellow piece of paper. I like yellow. And it just had like topics, and I would just talk about them. I would open it up at the end. Anybody have any questions that I could answer? I didn't always have the answers, but I would give them the numbers for the state. I would give them great resources for kiddos that I knew. And then, people asked me to start advocating for them. And it just very much blew up into a vocation. We have a team now, and now we're raising up other advocates, because the only advocate training there is, and I love Mr. Pete Wright. I've been to his class 100 times, but I love the law. I love law books, and it's a law class, right? Pete Wright's law, right? So there wasn't anything for, I want to just say regular people, because I'm just a regular people. There wasn't any training for like real training, not like, here is 300.11D, which stands for duh, right? You would go to these classes and they gave you sort of this, I don't know, like pie in the sky information, wasn't really applicable at the table. Or you go to these other classes that are like, this is the federal law. You go in there and you put your law book down. That's not how meetings work. That's not how humans are successful. This is a belly-to-belly world. If you're going to be an advocate, you got to get along with people. You have to learn how to have healthy conversations about differences, right? You have to be able to know how to communicate with somebody who's an introvert or an extrovert. How you get something out of somebody with a different personality is very different. And so, you're navigating a lot of people at an IEP meeting. And so it exploded. And if you literally, I'm not asking you to do this, if you went on your Facebook page tonight or your Instagrams or whatever you kids have and said, I'm a special ed advocate, I'd be happy to help 10 families for free, you'd probably have 50 messages from that. Because people, they don't have any help. They don't have any help, right? And so I know even if all the people had all the money, at the end of the day, my job is I'm also training my families to advocate, right? I don't need to be on their hip every time. But it's a unique position to negotiate all those relationships, that you can have a conversation with a superintendent. You can have a conversation with the school district's attorney, and you can have a conversation with anybody that sits at the IEP table. And when when you get to bring all those people together, when I get to bring a parent who's livid and a school district who's livid, they're all livid at each other, and I'm just like, all right, let's take a breath, let's have some snacks, and let's just do an Etch-a-Sketch. Let's start again. That's, a lot of that is what I do. I'm reestablishing relationship that is broken between a school and a parent for a myriad of reasons. And it doesn't really matter how you got there. It matters that you go in and help clean that up. So that's how I got into advocate work, because I had a kiddo with a child with an IEP. And I just assumed that when I send them across the street, and it's with this little Lion King backpack, the first one, that they would just do what they were supposed to do. And that didn't happen at all. And I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know about the internet. I mean, I think they had the internet. I didn't know that you could get information. I just didn't know. I just thought, this is America. They're just going to give him what he needs. And it wasn't my experience. So that's how you get started.